Hey, good morning, friends. Hope you're having an awesome day so far. Want to bring a tip about how to work with a web team in the case of you having fired someone and bringing in someone new. One thing my team and I do a lot of is what we call pickup work, wherein a client has a project that's partially done, almost done, and they've either had to fire their current person, their person has left, they have a tech requirement that's beyond the skills of their current team, whatever the case may be. And so we have this sort of 3 point sort of methodology where we pick it up, we clean it up, and we keep it up. So a lot of web agencies don't do that, where they won't come in to someone else's code. But my team and I, we are happy to help clients kind of get their projects back and finish and on their feet, right? So what happens a lot because we do this is we run into a lot of people who have kind of got the runaround and had a bad experience with another web team, be it a designer or a developer or a combination thereof, right? And so by the time it gets to us, they're sort of jaded and skeptical, and they've probably spent way too much money for way too little result, and they're really like anxious and stressed, right? So we get these people at this phase. And so I know that, going into the call most of the time that they're not going to be feeling great about talking to me. They're probably at the end of their rope. They're really, again, really skeptical is the word of anyone who says that they can help at this point, right? So, but the one thing that I do in knowing that is if this is you, if you have been on a project and the web person just dropped the ball, or again, just can't do, not that maybe even they dropped the ball, but they just don't have the technical ability to do what you need to do, and you need to bring in someone else, is you want to sort of avoid replicating that situation again. For example, so a couple of days ago, I had a call with a guy, and he let me know that the project had started. They'd gotten about halfway through. He'd spent a ton of money, and the job was like not even nearly close to being done. And so the first thing I always do when I'm talking to a prospective client is I'm trying to figure out how clear are they about what they want done? Because I know vagueness leads to technical disaster in most cases. So I'm trying to figure out, was it the problem on the developer end in that they literally were not did not know what they were doing? Or is it that the client was not communicating properly and there was like a communication breakdown and expectations just went sideways, right? So as I was talking to this guy, I could see very clearly that he was a terrible explainer. Like when he was trying to get me to quote to finish this job, but he was not organized at all. He didn't have his notes, he didn't have mock-ups, he didn't have his website login, he didn't have anything. And I'm like, what exactly do you want me to review? Like I can't quote. And he was like, so and so it was kind of funny to me because I'm like, okay, you've already been through this experience once or twice. You've had two other people before us. Like, and I was explaining, I'm like, the reason why you didn't get what you thought you would have gotten from what you paid for is because what you're describing is incredibly vague and confusing. And for whatever reason, the other designers and developers hadn't clarified or asked questions and whatever. But by the time it got to me, and I know that I want the buck to stop with me. I don't want them to go into another dynamic where there's getting the runaround. I want to be able to deliver on what they want. But unless my client knows what they want, I can't do it. I'm kind of hamstrung, right? Like I can't do it. So we spent like a bunch of time back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, me trying to get the information I needed in order to quote this properly. And this guy didn't have it, couldn't get it, didn't want to get it, was unwilling to kind of like track down the information I needed. And I just want to caution you that if you're in that phase where you've hired and fired a few people and you're now looking for someone to kind of finish it or save the day, don't keep replicating the same system of vagueness and confusion and disarray, because that's what you're going to keep getting from your web people. Until you are dialed in on what you need, no one is going to be able to deliver. So you have to ante up as yourself as the best possible client to attract the best possible team. And the best possible team is looking for clarity and organization, precision, documentation, like game plan, right? And so if you're frustrated that the people you're hiring are not doing their job, before you hire anyone else, take the time to focus. What are we really looking for? What went wrong? What wasn't done? Let me organize. And then if you do meet someone, let's say you meet someone more like me who's a little OCD with the planning, and they ask you for stuff, do it, get it, track it down. Don't just brush it off, because you're going to end up right where you started, getting the runaround. And the runaround happens not necessarily because the designers and the developers are trying to rip you off, is they're not clear. So they're working in circles because you're not clear. So stop the crazy, stop the pattern, get yourself together, get all your requirements, all your notes, all your ideas organized. Then and only then bring in your web people. Get a quote. So if you don't know how to scope a job, I have a project or a course on Udemy. I'll drop the link. But the most important thing you can do to create your project for success is to get yourself organized. It's the deal breaker. I will tell you that right now. So stop the crazy, stop the pattern. Do not shop until you're clear. Have any questions, post it below. Talk to you soon.